Good morning, students. In the last session of the operating system, we have discussed about the FCFS algorithm. First come, first serve algorithm. FCFS is the one of the simple algorithm that is used for the scheduling. FCFS stands for first come, first serve algorithm. In FCFS algorithm, the process or the job which come first, that process is allocated to the CPU first, and after the completion of first process, the CPU is allocated to the next. In this way, the scheduling of the different processes are going through the FCFS algorithm. Now, in this session, we will start our next scheduling algorithm, that is shortest job first, that is SJF algorithm. First, we will see the basic introduction about the shortest job first algorithm. In SJF algorithm, the processes or the process with the shortest expected processing time is assigned to the CPU, so it is known as SJF algorithm. In SJF algorithm, SJF stands for shortest job first. In the shortest job first algorithm, the process which having shortest burst time, shortest expected processing time is assigned to the CPU first. That means the process which having shortest burst time is assigned to the CPU first. So this algorithm is known as shortest job first algorithm. Here the jobs or the processes are processed in the ascending order of their CPU burst time. In this type of algorithm, here the number of processes are processed according to the ascending order of their particular CPU burst time. For example, here consider the example, if P1 process having the CPU burst time 5, and if there is another one process into the operating system, process P2, that having the burst time 2. So in this condition, by using SJF algorithm, the process P2 is assigned to the CPU first, because the process P2 having a shortest processing time. The process P2 having a shortest burst time. So the process P2 is executed first, and after the execution of process P2, the CPU is assigned to the process P1. In this way, every time the job with smallest CPU burst time is selected from the ready queue. In the SJF algorithm, every time the process which having a smallest CPU time is selected from the ready queue. Suppose two processes having same CPU burst time. Suppose in any condition, if two processes having the same CPU burst time, then at that time they will be scheduled according to the FCFS or any other criteria. Suppose in a operating system, if two processes having a same CPU burst time, then at that time the processes are scheduled according to the either FCFS scheduling algorithm, that means in that two processes, which process is arrived first, that according to that condition the shortest job scheduling algorithm is done, or any more suitable terminology can be selected. That means more suitable terminology is shortest next CPU burst algorithm. because the scheduling depends upon the length of next CPU burst of the job or the processes. In this case, if two processes having the same CPU burst time, then they will be scheduled according to the either FCFS or shortest next CPU burst algorithm. Then there are two types of SJF method, that is non-preemptive SJF and preemptive SJF. In non-preemptive method, if the CPU is executing one job, then it is not stopped in between before completion. In short, in non-preemptive SJF algorithm, once the CPU cycle is allocated to a process, then that process holds it till it reaches a waiting state or it is fully terminated. This is non-preemptive SJF. And next, preemptive SJF. In this method, while CPU is executing one job, if a new job arrives with smaller burst time, then the current job is preempted. It sent back to the ready queue and the new job is executed. So, it is also called as shortest remaining time first algorithm. There are two methods while implementation of SJF algorithm. First one is the non-preemptive SJF, in which once the CPU is allocated to any process, then that process holds the CPU until it reaches to the waiting state or either it is successfully terminated. This is about the non-preemptive SJF. But in the case of preemptive SJF, the jobs or the processes are put into the ready queue as they are coming, and a process with shortest burst time begins its execution. But if a process with even a shorter burst time arrives, the current process is removed or preempted from the execution and the shorter job is allocated to the CPU. This is a preemptive SJF. Let's see one example of each type of SJF. First, we will see non-preemptive SJF algorithm. Consider the process P1, P2, P3 and P4 processes available in the ready queue for their execution, with all the processes having arrival time as 0. And here is a burst time for their respective processes. Consider in the operating system there are 4 processes, that are process P1, P2, P3 and P4, which having a arrival time as time 0. And the process P1 having a burst time 6, process P2 having a burst time 8, process P3 having a burst time 7 and process P4 is having burst time 3. We know that in the shortest job first scheduling algorithm, the shortest process is executed first. So, in this condition, which is the shortest process? Process P4 is the shortest process because it having a shortest burst time, that is 3. After that, which process is shortest? After that, process P1 is shortest among all the process because it having a burst time 6, which is smaller than process P2 and process P3. After that, which is the smallest process? The process P3, it having a burst time 7, which is smaller than process P2. And at last, the process P2 is executed because it having a highest burst time. So, the Gantt chart is the following. Here is a Gantt chart shown for these processes by using the non-preemptive SJF algorithm. Here our execution is always start from the 0. In the SJF, we know that the shortest job is executed first. Shortest process is executed first. So, which is the shortest process? We know that process P4 is the shortest process. So, the process P4 is executed first. It having a burst time 3. So, it is executed for 3 milliseconds. After that, which is the shortest process? Process P1. So, after that, process P1 is executed for their burst time 6. So, for the 6 millisecond up to 9 millisecond, the process P1 is executed. Then, after that, which is the smallest process? Process P3. So, after that, after completion of process P1, process P3 is executed with their burst time 7. So, up to 7 millisecond, the process P3 is executed, and at last the process P2 is executed with the burst time 8. Process P2 is executed last because it having the highest burst time. So, this is the Gantt chart by using the shortest job first algorithm. In this algorithm, we are calculating a average waiting time and average turnaround time. So, for calculating, first we are calculating average waiting time. So, for calculating average waiting time for all the processes, we want to calculate one by one waiting time for the each process. How to calculate waiting time? There is a formula. Waiting time is equals to starting time minus arrival time. So, the process P1 waiting time is equals to 3. It having a starting time 3. 3 minus arrival time for all the processes are 0. So, 3 minus 0 is equals to 3. Then after that, we want to calculate the waiting time for the process P2. Process P2 waiting time is equals to starting time minus arrival time. Process P2 starting time is equals to 16 minus 0. So, waiting time for the process P2 is 16. Next, for the process P3, which is the starting time for the process P3? 9. 9 minus arrival time. Arrival time is equals to 0. So, 9 minus 0 is equals to 9. Next, for the process P4, waiting time is equals to 0 because the process P4 having a shortest burst time. So, it is executed first. So, it having a waiting time 0. Then, we are calculating average waiting time for all the processes. How to calculate? The waiting time for all the processes divided by the total number of processes. So, 3 plus 16 plus 9 plus 0 divided by 4, that is 7. So, 7 millisecond is the average waiting time for all the processes. Next, we want to calculate the average turnaround time. We know that the turnaround time is calculated by using the formula turnaround time is equals to ending time minus arrival time. So, the turnaround time for the process P1 turnaround time, how it is calculated? 9 minus 0 because 9 is the ending time and arrival time is equals to 0. Then next, for the process P2, ending time for the process P2, 24. 24 minus 1. Next, for the process P3, that is 14. Then, for the process P4, that is 0 because the process P4 is the shortest, so it is executed first. It having a arrival time as a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, the average turnaround time is 9 plus 23 plus 14 plus 0 divided by 4. So, it gets 11.5 millisecond average turnaround time. Next, we will see the example of preemptive SJF. In this example, there are 4 processes P1, P2, P3 and P4 which having arrival time 0, 1, 2, 3 respectively, and process P1 having a burst time 8, process P2 having a burst time 4, process P3 having a burst time 9 and process P4 having a burst time 5. So, the Gantt chart for these example is shown here. First, at the arrival at time 0, the process P1 is coming into the ready queue. So, the CPU is taking process P1 for the execution. After execution is started, execution is beginning, the another one process after execution of 1 millisecond of the process P1 is completed. At that time 1 millisecond another process P2 is coming into the CPU which having a smallest burst time than the current running process P1. So, the CPU takes the process P2 for the execution. The process P at this condition process P1 is preempted and process P2 is taking for the execution. So, after the completion of process P2, then again shortest process P4 is coming into the CPU. So, the process P4 is executed. So the process P4 is successfully executed, and after that the 2 processes are remaining into the CPU, that is process P1, which is process P1 is executed for only 1 millisecond. There are 7 milliseconds are remaining, and there is another process P3 which having a burst time 9. So, in these two processes, which is the shortest process P1. So, after that the process P1 is executed, and after completion of process P1 for 7 millisecond, the process P3 is executed. So, this is the Gantt chart for this preemptive SJF example. Let's calculate the average waiting time and average turnaround time for the processes. So, the average waiting time for the the waiting time for the process P1 is, we know that the how to calculate the waiting time. Waiting time is equals to starting time minus arrival time. So, what is the starting time for the process P1? That is 10, because here in the first case the process P1 is preempted. So, the 10 is the starting time minus arrival time. Here we are considering here 1 millisecond first the process P1 is executed. So, here we are considering 1. So, it is 9. For the process P2, what is the starting time? Process P2 starting time is 1. What is the arrival time of the process P2? 1. So, it is 0. The next process P3, what is the starting time? 17 minus minus arrival time, that is 2. So, it is 15. The next, what is the starting time for the process P4? 5 minus 3 is equals to 2. So, the average is the 6.5. In the same way, we are calculating a turnaround time for the process. What is the formula for calculating turnaround time? Ending time minus arrival time. What is the ending time for the process P1? 17 minus 0, that is 17. The next, P2 for the P2 process, ending time is equals to 5 minus 1. In this way, we are calculating a turnaround time. Here, you can also consider for calculating waiting time for the process P1. Here, you can consider the arrival time 0. Okay. Here you consider 0 value and calculate the average waiting time and turnaround time for the processes that are arrived into the CPU. This is the example of non-preemptive SJF. Then let's see the some characteristics of shortest job scheduling algorithm. It is associated with each job as a unit of time is to be complete. This algorithm method is helpful for batch type processing where waiting for jobs to complete is not critical. This algorithm is helpful, or this algorithm is mainly used in batch processing system. It can improve process throughput by making sure that shorter jobs executed first, hence possibly have a short turnaround time. And it also improves job output by offering shorter jobs which should be executed first, then which mostly have a shorter turnaround time. These are the main characteristics of the shortest job scheduling algorithm. In short, a shortest job first is an algorithm in which the process having the smallest execution time is chosen for the next execution. And this scheduling method can be either preemptive or non-preemptive. And it significantly reduces the average waiting time for the processes awaiting execution. That means in a shortest job scheduling algorithm, the process or the job which having a shorter execution time, shorter burst time is executed first, and after the completion of that particular job, the CPU is allocated to the next process. This is the shortest job first algorithm. The name itself suggests shortest job first, means shortest process first. The process which having a shortest execution time is executed first. Okay, thank you.